Loneliness is not the absence of people, but the absence of purpose. Shannon L. Alder. When people hear about someone who enjoys being alone, the immediate assumptions often lean toward negativity, loneliness, sadness, or even a sense of emotional damage. But for many, being alone is neither a sign of something missing nor a flaw. It's simply a choice. Some people genuinely prefer solitude, and for them, it's not about isolation or rejection of the world. It's about comfort and peace. And the truth is, it's often misunderstood. There are those who find peace in their own space, who wake up in the morning, not because they have to be out in the world, but because it feels right to them, not in a nobody likes me way. Just a quiet preference for solitude, where they can enjoy their own company without feeling the pressure of society's expectations. But to others, this preference looks like something different. People assume someone who keeps to themselves must be lonely, that something's wrong with them. Meanwhile, that person could be sitting in their room, sipping coffee, completely at peace, enjoying their own thoughts. They don't need to explain themselves. For some, being alone is not a void. It's a place to be fully themselves, without outside influence. They're comfortable with their thoughts, with the way their mind works when it's undisturbed. There's no pressure to perform, to be a certain way, to match someone else's energy. It's just them, and it feels good. Take Carl Jung, for instance. He once said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." And for some, this journey of becoming starts with solitude. In quiet moments, when they can just sit with their thoughts, they find clarity. They can tune out the world's noise and really listen to themselves. The world we live in can feel overwhelmingly loud, a constant hum of conversations, expectations, pressures, and obligations. It's exhausting. And that noise doesn't just come from people. It comes from every corner of our daily life. But when someone chooses to be alone, they can mute all of that. It's like hitting pause on everything. In that quiet, their mind can reset. Some people need solitude because they feel emotions more intensely. They pick up on the smallest shifts in energy, a change in tone, a mood that others don't notice, a tension in the air. For them, being around people can be draining, not because they dislike them, but because it requires energy. The more attuned you are to the emotional temperature of a room, the more you might feel drained by social interactions. Being alone is where they recharge. Interacting with others is like running on 10% battery. Social settings can be so draining, especially when you're in tune with everyone else's energy. But when they're alone, they get to recenter, refuel, and breathe. It's not about avoiding people. It's about maintaining their own peace. There's also the reality that, over time, some people learn that depending on others isn't always reliable. People can let you down. You can love someone deeply, and they still won't understand you. You can show up for someone, and they'll be nowhere to be found when you need them in return. Being alone can feel safer, more stable. It's not that they're afraid of people, but they've realized that their inner peace is more important than gambling with it. They've learned that when they're on their own, there's no uncertainty about what they can expect. Their peace is their own to protect. Some people might have grown up this way, without even realizing it. Maybe they were the quiet kid, the one who spent more time thinking, reading, or getting lost in their own world. Over time, that inner world grew stronger than anything the outside world could offer. As adults, they simply return to that space. It's familiar, it's comforting, it's where they find themselves. It's not loneliness, it's self-sufficiency. They've built a life inside themselves that feels as full, as vibrant, and as alive as anything external. They're also incredibly good at sensing when something's off. If the energy in a room feels fake, they'll feel it immediately. If someone's vibe is off, they'll know it before it's even spoken. Their radar for insincerity is sharp. And because they can sense when something doesn't feel right, they tend to be very selective about who they let into their lives. It's not about rejecting people. It's about being clear on what aligns with them. If they're in a room with people who don't match that energy, they'd rather sit alone. They're not going to force themselves to fit into spaces that don't feel genuine. When they do connect with someone, it's real. It's not small talk, not a surface level interaction just because it's expected. If they invite you into their world, it's because you matter. You don't have to guess whether you're important to them. They show it in their actions. People who prefer being alone understand something that many people miss. Alone doesn't mean empty. Being alone doesn't leave a person feeling hollow. In fact, it can be full of ideas, full of creativity, full of self-awareness. It's not avoidance, it's deep, meaningful reflection. In solitude, they confront their own flaws. They challenge their habits. They question who they are and what they're doing. They work through the things most people ignore, drown out with distractions or run from. And in that process, they learn to know themselves in a way that the busy noise of social life can never provide. It's this self-awareness, this willingness to sit with the uncomfortable parts of who they are that makes them different. They don't just exist. They actively reflect, question, and evolve. And when you reach that level of self-awareness, it changes the way you move through life. You don't cling to relationships or environments that drain you. You don't chase after people who don't respect you. You don't stay in situations that no longer serve you. You can walk away with ease, not because you're cold, but because you know what you need. People who fear being alone often cling to things they've outgrown. People who enjoy solitude don't. They understand the difference between company and connection. At the end of the day, choosing solitude is about finding a space that aligns with who you are. It's not a weakness, it's a strength. It's the space where you can truly be yourself, without pretense, without pressure. People who are comfortable being alone are emotionally mature. They don't need validation from anyone else because they've already found peace within themselves. They've built their inner world, and it feels good. It feels right. Being alone is not about isolation. It's about alignment. It's about choosing peace over noise, authenticity over performance. And honestly, there's nothing strange about that. Some of the most grounded, emotionally aware people you'll meet are the ones who know how to be comfortable in their own company. It's not loneliness, it's alignment. Loneliness is not the absence of company, but the absence of meaning. Gail Sheehy. For those who embrace solitude, they've found the most profound relationship of all, the one with themselves.